When we look at markets, when we start talking about due diligence in markets, and I could teach a whole weekend just on market segmentation, but these are 5 key things you got to understand. If we want to know our due diligence on the market that we're going to be in, and what do I mean by that? I just said it. Do markets change on you? Like right out from underneath your feet, a market can change on you, right? It's like, oh, what do you mean? They called it the bubble pop. How many of you have heard people refer to the market when it corrected? They say, oh, the bubble pop. Do you know why they say a bubble popped? Because they didn't know when it was going to pop, right? So it's like, it's we don't know, but that's false. That's absolutely false. You can tell when a market's turning. The reason that they call it a bubble pop is because the average consumer doesn't know what we know as investors or the data points to look at. So like with us, we knew like when we were in Las Vegas following these 5 economic indicators, we were out of the Henderson Highlands selling $1.3 million homes that now sell for $400,000. We were in Boise, Idaho doing the same thing following these indicators. We were out before that market crashed. We were doing the same thing in Tampa. My point is you don't have to be a statistic that the bubble popped on you if you just understand what I need to look for, right? You got to realize, everything in real estate gets what? Recorded. Yes. I should let you speak, Randy. Sorry. It gets recorded. So all that data doesn't lie to you. Is data emotional? No, it's just that. We just got to learn how to get it, read it, and use it. So we look at all new businesses. Where do we get that from? You can go to Chamber of Commerce and figure that out. What new businesses are coming in? What businesses are leaving? Is that impactful to a market? 100% it is. Per capita income. You need to understand a per capita income is like the P&L statement for a city. It's like, it'll tell you if a city is profitable and moving forward, or if it's losing revenue. And then when a city loses revenue, what's the first things it starts shutting down? Not businesses, it doesn't control them. What? City services, police department, fire department, medical, off transit stuff, all that starts getting closed down because it can't keep up with it, right? I'll give you an example. I was investing in a market in California called Vallejo, California. Anybody know where that is? You can go in the paper and look at it, what I'm about to tell you, so you know it's right. We were tracking Vallejo, California. Its per capita income was like $33,000. Next month, it was like $32,000. The next month, it was $27,000. Let me tell you something. When you look at per capita income, if it moves just slightly, that's a huge impact to the city. This thing dropped by $5,000 a month. Okay, and that's per capita, right? That means that's per household, right? So then the next month they went to 26. The next month they went to 25. I said, sell everything. We got out of Vallejo, California. 1 year later, guess what happened to Vallejo, California? Filed bankruptcy. The city filed bankruptcy. What happened the next year? Crime rate went up because why? They didn't have enough what? Police department. Crime rate just shot up. I mean, buildings were getting vandalized, on fire. They were condemning them because what? City ran out of money. They couldn't keep up with the infrastructure. This is why we track this, okay? We want to make sure we're in a thriving city. Apartment occupancy. I want to make sure that I'm in a market that the apartment occupancy is pretty high. We're typically looking for 85 to 90% occupied to show that we're in a stable market. Here's what. If the market is showing that it's 95, 98% occupied, do I want to be in that market? 100% I do, because why? What does that tell you? Rents are too low. Rents are too low. A stable market hovers around 90%. That means rents are right about where they need to be. When you see a market where occupancy is 95, 98, rents are too low. Rents are too low. So it's just, why would you go buy a mortgage when you could rent for cheaper, right? So these are little signs. It's not just data and what am I looking at? No, they tell us things. They speak to us like the whisper. This. I see it. No, I don't have voices in my head. Well, maybe. Office occupancy, another huge one that we look at. When we see office occupancy at a high, market, 80, there again, 80, 90%, well, then we know we have a thriving community. But what we also know is when we see the office occupancy dropping 70, 75%, what do we know there? Get in or get out of the market? No, change your strategy. You never get in or get out. You change your strategy. Here's something I learned years and years and years ago, 2 decades ago in my investing career. It said, Zach, stop trying. One of my mentors said, Zach, stop trying to invest in the market the way you want to. Find out what the market needs and then invest the way the market needs. Best advice ever given to me. Because we all say, well, this is what I want to do. Because we're such an I person, right? I want this. I'm going to do this. No. If you don't want to I yourself into bankruptcy, then you figure out what the market needs and then you supply the market with what it needs. Who made all the money in the gold rush? The gold diggers? That's right. Levi Stratton made all the money, right? Selling Levi's and picks, right? He just said, why would I go dig for gold and die? Let's just supply them with what they need. It's the same thing we're doing when we're looking at that. We're just trying to figure out what the market needs. Because when office occupancy drops, what do I know is the next big thing that happens when businesses start closing? What's the next thing? Follow the pain points here. What? Speak up. No, per capita, I mean, city will lose taxes, but no, say it. Who said it? Unemployment, Tony, good job. If I had a cookie, I'd throw it at you. Unemployment. So when businesses shut down, what happens? They lay people off. So what happens? Unemployment does what? Goes up. If unemployment goes up, what's the next thing that happens after our unemployment? I just gave it away, didn't I? Foreclosures. So we're just getting ahead of the curve is all we're doing. Typically, you ready for this? Now I'm going to go into some more data for you and throw another gold nugget at you. Typically, people who work in a work environment live within 5 to 7 miles from their employer. 5 to 7 miles from their employer, okay? So if we know that a business that employed 2,000 people just closed down, what do we know? Within 5 to 7 miles from that business, we've got what? Probably 50% occupancy of homes that work there. You with me? Of that 2,000. So then we're going to do a cross data research, and we're going to say we want to now see inside this 7-mile radius who's late on their water, mortgage. Now what do we know? We already know where the pain is. We don't have to wait on 30, 60, 90-day lates like 90% of other investors do. We're using what's called predictive index data. We're already seeing, okay, they got a problem. It hasn't hit the radar yet, but I know it's coming because why? I've already gotten ahead of it. You with me on this? All right, guys, who understands what I just said right there? Half of you. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a little deep for you, but I get a little carried away. It's my brain for you. All right, building permits. Boy, this one saved me millions of dollars in Henderson, out in Vegas. Building permits, or if you guys want to know before a bubble pops and you want to know before the media starts telling you, there's a few things you need to look at. Number 1 is building permits, new construction building permits. Number 2 is available inventory. And number 3 is days on market. Track those 3 things, you'll never get caught in a bubble, okay? Because building permits tell us what the builders are doing. Now follow me with this. Do builders just buy a bunch of land and build all the houses at once and sell them? No, they build them in phases, right? Typically, the lender makes them do that because it's risk management. Because building is speculation, right? It's the highest speculation you'll ever get into. It's one of the reasons I don't encourage people to do it, okay? Because you're putting your entire life at risk. You're putting the whole thing on the line. You're like, it's either going to work or I'm getting a job, right? And I'm just not a fan of that, right? So building permits you can track, and here's why. When business is hot and buyers are buying, builders are what? They're pulling permits to build. When all of a sudden inventory's not selling, builders stop what? Pulling permits. So before the media or your broker tells you that the market slowed down, you can already know it by simply tracking what? Building permits. You are already ahead of everybody else by doing that. Yes. Well, there's lots of sites out there. One of them is put on by the University of Alabama. They have an I forget the website. I might have it in here, but say it. ACRE. Thank you. And so it's an economic research team in the University of Alabama. They put all that data out there as well. And there's other websites out there that does it. There's a bunch of them that do it. Google's an amazing thing.